Good morning, everyone. Well, we've got a deal. Yay! For real. Yay. I'm glad we have a deal because if today came and went without a deal, I think that we would have been in trouble. So I'm very glad that we've got a deal. And I'm going to cover a couple of other stories as well because lots is happening today. Let's try and stay on top of it. Okay, so to the article, quote, what we know about the new USMCA trade deal replacing NAFTA. So I'm just going to go sector by sector. The auto sector. Quote, Trump has agreed that no hard limit will be placed on Canadian auto exports to the U.S., though if the U.S. moves forward with the imposition of worldwide 232 tariffs on autos, those would also apply to Canada. However, what Ottawa has negotiated is effectively an exemption because it would still be able to export cars and parts tariff-free up to a certain amount well above what Canada currently sends south of the border. So our current auto market is protected. So that's good. Good job. Mexico secured an agreement to have 232 tariffs suspended so long as their auto exports don't grow by more than 40%, growth that would exceed U.S. production. The cap is a ceiling Canada can live with since the majority of exports to the U.S. are parts and not completed vehicles. So great. So access to the dairy, eggs, and poultry market. Okay, so the new deal would give American farmers greater access to Canada's dairy, worth about 3.6% of Canada's current dairy market, according to the Dairy Farmers of Canada. The U.S. has negotiated access worth about 3.25% of Canada's market in the TPP, but then it withdrew. So there was some confusion about that. But more significant to the industry's long-term viability is the dismantling of Canada's, quote, Class 7 dairy ingredient pricing strategy, a solution to Canada's skim milk surplus that was negotiated between Canadian farmers and processors. The more consumers increase their consumption of butter, as they have in recent years, the more skim milk is generated. The lower dairy ingredient price removes the incentive for dairy processors to use American dye-filtered milk products that were entering Canada through a loophole. When American farmers lost contracts, they complained about Canada's unfair trade practices, so U.S. negotiators focused on this concession to please the policy significant constituency in some states. So people were angry about this, and so they basically reopened that loophole and allowed it legally. So yay, good negotiating. Back to the article. While market access concessions permanently guarantee increasing amounts of foreign dairy products, the Canadian dairy industry has suggested that losing the Class 7 may be more costly and serious threat to its long-term sustainability. Yeah, I mean, if you open up the market like that, then people can start increasing their shelf space, et cetera, et cetera. It's a slippery slope. But, I mean, hey, man, the world moves on, and it's moving on. So the chicken industry, back to the article, the chicken industry's market appears to be more than double what the U.S. negotiated in the TPP, so that's an increase. While some of the U.S. products ramp up over 4 to 6 years, in the case of the new U.S. eggs, they kick in right away in year one, making the short-term impact more than 3 times what it would have been under TPP. The U.S. has additional access to Canada's turkey and broiler hatching eggs and chicks as well. National security tariffs, so this is steel and aluminum. Canada was scrambling to secure an exemption from steel and aluminum tariffs, but it became clear that the Trump administration wasn't budging easily. Quote, there isn't any agreement on this point. There's been talk about potential discussion there, but that's on a completely separate track, said senior U.S. official who told reporters Sunday night. The article is in the description. Link is in the description. Please read it for yourself. It's interesting. So back to the article. Dispute resolution. Canada was unwavering for its demand for Chapter 19. Why? According to the Prime Minister, it's because Trump, quote, doesn't always follow the rules. So, I mean, thanks, CBC. Get that dig in there. Hey, we got a deal. Screw you, Trump. Just to, make sure that you know that we're virtue signaling against you. We don't like you. I saw some tweets as well saying we're still calling it NAFTA. Real grown up, guys. Real grown up. I thought it was, funny, but silly. Just silly. Okay, cultural exemptions. Back to the article. Unchanged from the original version of NAFTA, cultural exemptions will remain in the new deal, according to senior Canadian sources. This particular segment became a Canadian must-have, Trudeau had argued, because otherwise it could enable American companies to buy Canadian newspapers or TV stations. Oh no. Quote, it is inconceivable to Canadians that an American network might buy Canadian media affiliates, whether it's newspapers or TV stations or TV networks, Prime Minister Trudeau told reporters in September. Right, but, with the CBC basically posting American news all the time, it seems crazy to have lost so much over the summer. Instability breeds lack of investment, and you can see all those numbers. You can see the newspaper articles about that. That's not what this story is about today, but that's happened all through the summer. There have been people who've been actually injured by this. So posturing to give in now, seems just wild and crazy. And especially when the CBC is just posting American news. I think they've posted more about the Kavanaugh hearings and him being rapist or something to that effect at 17, and much less on an actual sexual assault by our prime minister when he was 30 odd, or no, when he was 20 odd or whatever. I can't remember how old he was at this point in time, and I don't care. It happened, and it's provable. We have a witness. She came forward and said, yeah, it happened. And everybody was like, oh, yeah, well, he was young, right? And they run all these reports on Kavanaugh. Jesus. Anyway, okay, so that's the new trade deal, the USMCA. The loonie soars in the wake of the trade deal. That's great. Fantastic. I'm glad that the loonie is up. That's good. It's less than a cent, but that's still, I mean, trading up from to 78.13 cents at open, from 77.25 cents at close on Friday. Yeah, that's a good day. Okay, Toronto mayoral, they're canceling events because Faith Goldy has to be invited, because their own rules say Faith Goldy has to be invited. So instead of running the event and inviting Faith Goldy, who's polling third, they cancel the event, and that's hilarious. How scared of her are you guys? Jesus. So, okay. The the title of the article is Toronto Mayoral Candidates Forum on Seniors Issues Cancelled. A Toronto Mayoral Candidates Forum scheduled for Monday has been cancelled. The event, which was going to focus on seniors issues, was scheduled to have 5 candidates in attendance. However, because the event was going to be held on city property, the city's fair use policy requires that all mayoral candidates be involved in the forum. Those scheduled to attend were candidates Tori Keesmet, Sarah, I'm not going to try your name, Sarah, Saron, and I'm not going to try your name, Saron, and Mr. and Mrs. Singh. And I'm sorry, I'm not looking any of you guys up. You're not what the story is about today. I'm sorry. I apologize about the names as well. I don't have time to look up how to pronounce everybody's name. I apologize. Okay, back to the article. Involving all 35 registered candidates was not feasible, the events planning committee said. Quote, the sponsors would not and did not extend invitations to several candidates who espouse policies and beliefs that violate their organization's core values and principles. For this reason, it was necessary to make the difficult decision to cancel the event. It's not our fault. It's these racist candidates who want to use rules that we made to make sure everything's fair to participate in this debate. So we're going to cancel the debate. That'll show them. Do you see your hypocrisy, Toronto? Do you see your hypocrisy? It's right there. It's blatant. Just calling somebody racist isn't enough to blacklist them from the political arena. It's not. We're a democracy. We're all grown-ups, and we get to make our own mind up. You don't get to decide, media. It's not up to you. Okay, link will be in the description. The People's Alliance agrees to support the PC government in New Brunswick. So the other week we had an election, and the Liberals won 21 seats, and the PC won 22 seats. But the Liberals wanted to continue governing, so they said that, and had they maybe coerced the Greens, who won 3 seats, to their side, they could have continued governing with a minority if the People's Alliance didn't agree to support the PCs. But as the PCs won 22 seats and the People's Alliance won 3 seats, that gives them a 25-seat majority, and they're willing to support them for 18 months. So we've got a shaky minority, but I guess a shaky coalition with a time limit on it. And I mean, okay, they can work together. Sure. Let's get something done, right? That's not destroying Canada, Justin Trudeau. Quebec heading to the votes today, so we're going to have a new government in Quebec. Possibly, it could be the incumbent Liberals winning, but I believe that there is a change in the air, according to the Quebec media that I've read anyway. And I'm not going to get too far into that because this video has already gone longer than I thought it should. And the last one is, I posted a video about this on September 28th. Are you guys watching my feed, Toronto Sun? Sue Ann Levy? Anyway, I thought this was awesome. Good job, guys. Thanks for reporting this as well. Thanks for getting it out there. This was broken actually by Meta Canada. That's where I saw it. It was like a stickied, and they linked directly to the Radison Hotel TripAdvisor. So it was like I came to it through those guys. So well done, everybody in Canada who's trying to keep our officials honest. Today's the first day that the federal government was paying till September 30th. So who's paying for these refugees to stay in these hotels now and make a giant mess and make it absolutely unsafe for anybody traveling to stay at 2 floors that are available for guests to still rent as a hotel. And I was reading as well that because it's still functioning as a hotel for 2 floors, the staff still have to like do all the bed changing, and like they have to go and clean the rooms and stuff. Is that wild? Like if you're living in a hotel and you've got like maid service as well, is that our tax dollars at work? Anyway, so that's an update. I hope you all have a good day. Thanks for watching.